I'm not here to take a side on any half of the political aisle. I am here to ask Dr. Fauci questions, many of which I've written down, hopefully to get some scientific answers from you, the top infectious disease expert in America. Let's just clear it up. How the virus is transmitted. Can you get it from surfaces or only via air?
It's transmitted predominantly by the respiratory route, droplets or aerosolized from one person to another. It is conceivable, but very unlikely that you can get it from fomites. You can clearly, fomites means inanimate objects, doorknobs, computer, whatever.
Surfaces.
It can occur, but it is the very minor component of transmission. Overwhelmingly, it's person to person through the respiratory route.
So that original theory of, hey, it lives on surfaces for 72 hours, that was just a number, and that's a bit of just a number that was thrown out there?
No, it can. No, what actually, what investigators have done is that they've gone and shown that you can get it off surfaces, off cloth for 72 hours. What hasn't been shown is that it is an inoculum that's large enough to actually transmit. So it is absolutely true that you can isolate it from doorknobs, steel, chrome, or what have you for up to 72 hours. But we don't think that that is a major modality of transmission.
So it is a respiratory virus, and that's how it's majorly being spread. So we know that. That's a fact. Why not make a mask mandate across the United States and fine people for not wearing masks? If that's how you get it.
Yeah. You make a really good point. That is the subject of a lot of debate. And the reason is that, first of all, my recommendation, as you probably know, because I've said it publicly so many times, is that absolutely we should have universal wearing of masks. The difficulty with mandates is that there tends to be a pushback about, do you have to waste time enforcing it, or can you really use the power of persuasion from the leadership, everybody doing it, because it's so important? And there's a debate whether you get any extra mileage out of mandating it. For myself personally, I would say everybody should have to use it.
Is it true that type A blood is more likely to get sick than the type O, more or less?
The answer is yes, Matthew, but it's such a slight difference that it isn't something where people with type A need to start worrying a lot. The difference between one blood type and the other is significant but minuscule.
If you have the antibodies and you already had COVID, can you get it twice? And if so, how would a vaccine be effective to that person, that individual?
Now, good question. If you have antibodies that are neutralizing, it will block the virus. What we don't know is how long after you recover from infection those antibodies last, and whether or not you have antibodies that are very powerful, because some antibodies, they're antibodies to the virus, but they're not very protective. The ones that are really protective are called neutralizing antibodies. Related to your question about the virus, the vaccine, when you vaccinate somebody, we've shown in the early studies, which are now being much more enlarged, that when you vaccinate somebody with the vaccines that are being used now, that are in clinical trial, you induce a level of antibody that's equivalent to, if not greater, than what you get with natural infection, which is a strong predictor that for at least a finite period of time, you will be protected. What we don't know, because we've only been doing this for 6 months, is how long that protection lasts.
Right. What are the possible long-term effects of this virus that nobody's really talking about right now?
That is a really good question. And the thing that we need to know when you're dealing with an evolving outbreak is that we've got to be humble and flexible in realizing that this is a work in progress. We're learning more and more about it. Weeks go by. But to your specific question, we're starting to see more and more people who apparently recover from the actual viral part of it. And then weeks later, they feel weak, they feel tired, they feel sluggish, they feel short of breath. It's a chronic projection forward of symptoms, even though the virus is gone. And we think that's probably an immunological effect. It's very disturbing because if this is true for a lot of people, then just recovering from this may not be okay. You may have weeks where you feel not exactly correct.